What is going on, guys? Gino checking back in for another video today, and in this video I'm going to be giving 6 tips to help you on your fat loss journey and become aesthetic. There are so many things that are being told regarding like fat loss and nutrition, training, all surrounding cutting, that are simply just not true. You just basically listen to the buff guy in the gym saying you have to eat every 2 hours, you have to eat 6 to 8 meals a day, you can only eat clean. Alright, I bet that sounds familiar for some of you guys, so I selected some of my favorite tips for cutting that I know will help you guys lose fat and get shredded. So let's begin. Alright, the first tip is tracking your food intake. Now, if I had a penny for everyone who came up to me and said, I can't lose fat, and then when I asked them, do you track your calories and macros, and they say, what? I would be one rich dude. Now, if you were to start a cut and want to lose body fat, it's a really smart idea to start tracking your food intake. Because if you don't, you are basically creating a recipe for disaster. Once you start cutting body fat, you will eventually hit a plateau, which basically means your body will adapt to the amount of calories that you're eating. So say for example, you're eating like 2500 calories to lose fat, your body will eventually adapt, and that means you will have to drop below 2500 calories. Now, if you're not tracking your food intake and you still want to lose body fat, you will not know what to drop. So download the app MyFitnessPal or any other food tracking app and start tracking your calories. See what your weight does on the amount of calories that you're eating, and if you plateau and don't drop any more weight, just simply drop 100 calories. Alright, the next cutting tip that I have is a major key to fat loss, which is avoiding stress. Now, when you start to stress out for, say, example, exams or work or whatever, your body produces the hormone called cortisol. And cortisol is basically like the only thing you don't want when you want to build muscle mass or lose fat at all. Cortisol eats on your muscle mass and it actually makes you store fat. Whether you're in a deficit or a surplus doesn't really matter, that's what the hormone does. So what you want to do is make sure you get enough sleep, is that you take time to relax, even if you're stressing about, I can't lose fat. So what I do is make enough sleep, relax. If you're stressing about, I can't lose fat. If I had a penny for everyone who came up to me and said, I can't lose fat, and then when I asked them, do you track your calories and macros, and they say, what? So to avoid stress and to avoid cortisol, I advise you to get enough sleep, like 7 to 8 hours a day minimum. That means you might have to go to sleep earlier, but that will result in more fat loss. So it's basically just, you know, get your priorities straight. Take time to relax, take a hot shower, take a relaxing walk, meditate, have fun with your friends, have fun with your girlfriend, whatever. Just have fun and relax. Because let's face it, stress is a gain killer. Alright, the next cutting tip is train the same way you train when you are bulking or cutting. There are so many people that will actually tell you, high reps, low weight. That's what you have to do for fat loss. That's what you have to do when you're cutting. That's all bullshit. There's a quote that I always use when people try to like throw this at my face. The way you train to build muscle mass is the same way you should train to keep that muscle mass. When you're in a deficit and you want to lose body fat, you're in a calorie deficit, which actually means you're not providing your muscles with enough nutrients to grow, which actually means that you could potentially lose muscle mass. And the way to avoid that is by giving your muscle the same stimulus that you gave them while you were in a surplus and gaining muscle. So it's actually really counterproductive to train in a different way than to use lightweight and high reps. Just don't listen to the buff guy in the gym saying you have to do that stuff, because it's not true. Do your own research. Most of the time the things they tell you in the gym come from the 1970s and 1960s, and most of the time all of those myths are really debunked. Alright, the fourth tip that I want to give you is get your fiber in. Now this means eat your fruits and eat your vegetables. Now I know if it fits your macros, flexible dieting, you can eat whatever you want and still get to your body composition goals. You can actually lose fat while eating pizza all day, or rice cakes, or Nutella. But if you don't eat enough fiber, you will not get that full feeling on your stomach, and that will lead to most likely some binge action. Because if you're feeling hungry all day, you will really get tempted to eat more. That will really hinder your fat loss progress. So I hate to be the guy to like tell you to eat your fruits and vegetables, because yeah, that's what your parents are for most of the time. Just do it for your own good, because it will really help with you losing fat, since it will fill you up more. Alright, the fifth cutting tip is drink water. Or diet soda, whatever you want. Now drinking water really helps because it has the same effect that fiber has. It will fill you up. Now drinking enough water has more than just the benefit of filling you up. It can actually help you drop water weight. which really sounds stupid because drinking water drops water weight. Because drinking water helps you drop the weight that you hold on from eating too much sodium. So if you ate like a salty meal or anything, you will most likely wake up to a heavier weight in and being like bloated and stuff. So by drinking enough water, you will actually drop that weight and look leaner at the same time. So I always advise people to drink at least 3 to 5 liters of water, if not more. Just don't do it in one sitting, because drowning yourself with water is a real thing, trust me. Right, and the last cutting tip that I want to give you guys is perhaps try intermittent fasting. Now, intermittent fasting is basically a time window that you give yourself to eat all your calories. Now, this means that you might like wake up at 10 AM and give yourself room to fast till like 3 PM or something, and then start eating. Now, most people think that this makes you more hungry since you're not eating for the majority of the day, but this is actually the other way around. Now, by giving yourself a shorter time window in order to eat all your calories, you will actually feel more full once you start eating, because you can have bigger meals throughout the day. Now, a major misconception that people have with fasting is that it's catabolic, meaning you will break down muscle. But this is actually not the case. Catabolism usually just occurs when you don't drink water, you don't eat for like 3 days straight. That's when you start breaking down muscle mass. But that's not the case if you fast for like 16 or 18 hours or maybe even longer. As long as you drink water, hit your macros, get your protein in for the day, as soon as you start eating, you'll be good to go. Now, with that tip comes try drinking coffee, because caffeine is a hunger suppressant, and drinking enough water because it will fill you up during the time you are fasting. Now, I wanted to make kind of a list of cutting tips that I personally use for me to make fat loss easier. So I hope you guys can take something away from all these tips. If you did, please be sure to smash that thumbs up button, because it really helps out the channel grow. Comment down below, subscribe to the channel for so much more content coming really soon. I'm out, guys, and peace out.